As you guys know, especially if you've been watching this very channel over the last couple of days, the Resident Evil 7 beginning hour demo is now finally out on PC. And now that it's out on PC, some very diligent data miners over on Reddit have been delving into the code of the beginning hour demo and have found some file names which strongly hint at the return of a familiar character from the series. Now, this is a pretty major spoiler, so if you don't want to know, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to close the video. Ready? Alright, so these file names hint at the return of the one and only Albert Wesker, who of course needs no introduction at all to anyone even slightly familiar to Resident Evil as a series. He's a long-running recurring antagonist who's just so stupidly evil. He's probably evil when he goes to do his weekly shop. Now, as I said, the actual things that hint at him returning are some file names found in the code for the data for the Resident Evil 7 demo, and they basically have Albert in the title. Now of course it's very possible that this is just another Albert, but it does seem strange to me that Capcom would choose another character with the same name as one of their major antagonists when there's an infinite amount of male names out there that they could choose from. Now the NeoGAF user Jawmuncher has hopefully accumulated a list of file names of Albert in the title, and there's a couple of them that are particularly interesting, but I just want to go through the whole list quickly first. We have Handgun Albert Reward, Shotgun Albert, Weapon Handgun Albert Append, Last Boss Finish Get Gun, Last Boss Get Albert, Albert Interact, Albert Get, Albert Weapon, Albert Damage Count is damaged by Albert. Now the original post from NeoGAF, which will of course be linked in the description below, does say that they don't personally think that this points to the return of Wesker, more that perhaps you just have his weapons available to you, perhaps his gun that he used in say Resident Evil 1 or some other sort of Wesker themed weaponry being able to actually be acquired within the game. And I would actually kind of agree with them if not for that is damaged by Albert's thing, unless Albert is literally the name of the gun or guns, because obviously there's the Shotgun Albert as well. So this could be read multiple ways. It could be the return of Wesker, it could just be hey, Wesker's weapons are in the game. Personally, as much as I enjoy Wesker as a character, he's very silly. Any man who can catch and throw rockets launched from a rocket launcher back at you, well, he had some cool points in my book. I don't know about you. As much as I enjoy him as a character, I hope he isn't here, because I think the best thing for Resident Evil 7 is to be connected to the overall sort of world of Umbrella, T-Virus, G-Virus, all of that, but to be separated from the main, rather, shall we say, convoluted story that is Resident Evil. Having it separated from that is the best thing in my mind, because that's one thing that made Resident Evil 4 so great. I mean, yeah, Ada was in it, and obviously Leon was a recurring protagonist as well, and Wesker was just sort of vaguely somewhere in the background, but apart from that, it was completely separate from the main story of Resident Evil, and it was actually stronger for it, in my opinion. As much as I love Resident Evil as a series, I've played pretty much all of them at this point, and they're all great, and they're all camp and cheesy, but they're all really good games. But the story is not the best, let's just put it that way. So hopefully we can just kind of leave that behind, especially after Resident Evil 6, but this could be read either way. Now, the full post from Jawmuncher is rather lengthy and also points to other things such as multiple endings and a few other bits as well. Now, I'm not going to say I'll be overly upset if this is connected to the old Resident Evil story and Wesker is in it in some degree. I'm just saying I think it would be better for the game if it wasn't, but if he is back, cool. I just wonder how that's going to happen, because again, spoiler alert for Resident Evil 5. We good? Well, he basically gets burned by lava at the end. He's pretty much dead, and Umbrella is finished at that point as well. So unless it's got some sort of clone shenanigans, which is probably the tiredest trope on the history of mankind, it's probably unlikely that it's him. Maybe this could be even a sort of before that happened, kind of weird timeline nonsense, or it is him and he somehow survived, or it's hey, it's a clone, because Wesker is that sort of guy to have that happen. So I wouldn't complain if he's in it because he's such an interesting and amusing character, but I just think it'd be better for the game if he isn't. So, interesting rumours. As I said, there's a bunch more stuff I haven't covered. Go check out the link in the description below. Click see more, you'll see it. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.